disaster. Damage to property, damage to health, and even death in some cases. But we make use of explosions in many ways as well. Chemists and engineers have harnessed the combustion process in order to operate the internal combustion engine, for instance, in the automobiles and buses that you came in. So we want to demonstrate that explosion behind it. I have this much larger polypropylene jug, which will flex rather than shatter. It's been modified with two metal electrodes going through almost to the center and not quite touching. That takes the place of the spark plug gap, which is the initiator in the internal combustion engine cylinders. Rather than a piston to be pushed up and down the cylinder, I simply have a large cork that will be shot out one time. We aren't so foolish as to use regular automobile fuel. I simply have some methyl alcohol here, a good fuel, but not nearly so violent as gasoline. We'll pour some in. Now, in these combustion processes, it is the vapor reaction. So I'm going to shake this about simply to help saturate the air within this large jug with the vapor of the methanol. We'll pour the excess out because that really does us no good. The explosion is the vapor of the fuel along with the oxygen component of the air within it. We'll put this behind the shield for obvious safety reasons, and we'll supply the spark with this little device, a Tesla coil, which supplies static electricity. And now, from the size of it, you need to protect your ears, and since one of my hands is occupied, I'll protect mine. And think of the next time you're in a car or an automobile going down the street with that happening literally hundreds of thousands of times. I think I lost my hearing. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Okay. Now, the automobile and the internal combustion engine has a lot of connections to the Dayton area because when Charles Kettering moved up to Detroit to head the research and development at the conglomerate General Motors, he remembered many of his chemist friends in Dayton. Well, the automobile was limited because when fuels would burn, they would burn roughly. This gave a vibration to the engine, and there'd be a lot of pre- and post-ignition, which would cause a lot of mechanical failure. The oil industry solved part of the problems by developing ways to form branched hydrocarbons, the octane being the standard of comparison. But still, things did not develop engines to produce the speed or the power that was necessary or desired by the engineers at the time. So Kettering came to a Dayton chemist, Thomas Midgley, and said, can you develop an additive that will smooth out the explosion and reduce or eliminate the pre- and post-ignition? Well, what Midgley came up with was tetraethyl lead, ethyl gasoline. Now, only more recently have we realized the damage environmentally that lead produces. That wasn't always the case. In my youth, I made toy soldiers in molds out of lead and thought none the more of it. Many other devices made use of lead with its low melting point. But now that we know there's a problem with it, okay, chemists have developed new additives without lead to produce smooth, non-knocking combustion. Now, this first demonstration with the methanol will actually be a demonstration of how we don't want the explosion in an internal combustion engine to work. That is to say, this will have a lot of vibration, pre and post ignition, and even though it might be used in things, and by the way, this is also an analogy to a jet engine producing thrust by a restricted opening, this will not be loud, but it'll be very visual. We're using the clear plastic. The shield is even more necessary here because clearness in plastics, just like glass, implies a brittleness. So watch this and then keep it in mind, and we'll do a contrasting demo of a much better fuel. Now that's sort of pretty and all that vapor dancing and such, but you know, I wouldn't want to ride in a plane, for instance, whose jet engines go whoosh, chug, 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 whoosh, chug, 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 chug. And the vibrations in an automobile would also be more than one would want to put up with. Now I'm going to take a branched alcohol, isopropanol, and it's actually a 70% solution of it because water is also something that will help smooth out engines. Back in the very, very old days of automobiles, many times they would run better on rainy, moist days because of the moisture content and its effect on smoothing out the explosions. So this now is a 70% isopropanol drugstore rubbing alcohol. We'll pour out the excess. Again, it is the vapor we are concerned with. Put this behind the shield, and we'll ignite this to contrast it with the previous. Remember, what we want is smooth, slow push with a minimum of post-ignition or dancing. Okay, here we go. Nice slow push, quick out. Thank you. Good.